if you can see the blotchiness here, right here, it's milky. Right here, it looks darker. So lighter, darker. Lighter, darker, right there. That's paint protection film drying. You don't even worry about that. Once it dries, it'll all become the same shade. Oh boy. So this car goes down as the, I think the second biggest hood, or second biggest piece of film that I've cut out for a hood. I don't know, this is a close, real close race between the Porsche Macan, which I just did one last week, and this Jaguar hood. So this is a Jaguar F-Type, and whew, that's a big boy right there. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. So what I'm seeing here when I'm looking at this is that it doesn't look like a ton of stretch. There's definitely gonna be stretch involved, but it doesn't look as crazy as let's say the Macan is crazy amount of stretch, just insanity really. Compared to this looks much more mellow. Should be hopefully an easier install. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 4-corner tack, but we're going to do it backwards. So I'm going to tack the front across here, and then we're going to stretch to back here. And the reason for that is that this, if we tack here and then the material hits right here, it's going to tack right there really quick. And then if I stretch towards the front, it's going to pull that across here and damage the adhesive, and I don't want that. So we're going to do just the opposite of a 4-corner tack on this one. Or we're going to do a 4-corner tack, but we're just going to start at the front for the first tack points. Okay, well let's do this. All right. I know this sounds like it's scratching. People point this out in the videos about this thing, but rest assured, it is not, or I would throw it right in the trash. I mean, if it scratched a car one time, even because of not its own fault, like I grabbed a piece of like a piece of, you know, sand or something and pulled it across the hood, I would throw this thing away. I'd be so scared of it at that point. Plenty hanging over?
Oh yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, I went a little crazy, but I was like, I'm not coming up short. That's what I knew.
Right. No.
Nothing's more expensive than coming up short. Well, maybe coming up short twice. Coming up short twice. Yeah, I mean, I got a ton of excess on both sides, so, but I'm okay with that. Not worried about that. All right, we're gonna tack. I'm gonna actually just tack to this headlight here and to the fender over here. Or I'm sorry, bumper. So we're gonna go bumper, headlight. That is, when I pull this tight, then obviously you're bridging gaps here, and that is not great at all. So let's tack this down across here with no stretch from left to right. And we're gonna leave those fingers in it and see if that gives us extra material to get this down. So we'll see. I'll explain in a moment. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch back now and get rid of these fingers here. And we need to come from left to right just a little bit to get rid of those fingers right there. Okay, so let's go like that. And then we're also going to need to come down in order to get rid of this extra material here. So let's get this all the way down, like so. And then let's get rid of this extra material here, like so. Okay, and then we'll see what we can do with all this. This is gonna be interesting. All right, and this one I just want to come straight back with. Just enough to get rid of those fingers there. Okay, let's get this edge tacked down, and then we can move this a little bit closer, hopefully, to get some tension straight down. Okay, that looks good. That helped us get rid of a little bit more of the finger out here by putting a little bit more tension on that part. And that's looking really good. Now we need to come down a little bit in order to get rid of some more of this finger here. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Now let's get a little bit more on this, a little more stretch. Get rid of a little bit more of this finger here. Okay, and what we want, see how this is just going to keep peeling up? What we want is this back edge to be stuck all the way down. And that's going to help this just from continuing to pop up when you get this edge stuck. It might still kind of do it. We'll see here. Swipe and hold? I don't know. Let's see what we got though. Okay, so we got a decent finger here. Okay, actually if we pull down on that, that helps with that a little bit. So what I'm basically trying to do is keep as little tension out here as possible, because we don't want this whole area popping up, so we're bridging a gap between here and here. That's going to be a problem. Now we need to get rid of a bunch of this air as much as possible. Especially the, well, let's check right here. So we're getting some pre-tacking right here. What are we gonna do about that? The only thing that I can think to do about that is to cut right here and then try to go in with my arm and lift this up. Now be careful you don't tear these further. Okay. Okay, we're getting a lot of pre-tacking on these here, so let's go ahead and get those squeegeed out right now, and then we're going to work on these middle sections. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to just take everything forward today. So let's get this back tacked down, and then we'll take everything forward. And I'm not going to mess with these areas too much because they are just going to continue to pop up. But we do want to get the rest of these areas here. So there was a little bit of pre-tacking here, so I just wanted to push some moisture in there and untack that pre-tacking area. Okay, go ahead and keep squeegeeing all this out. Okay, let's get this out of here. We need to just pop this up a little to give that a place to escape. Okay, so I'm only worried about getting down to this body line here, and we'll deal with the rest of this part later because that's easy to pop back up if we need to and add more slip or tack in there. Okay. Okay, and that's actually a decent sized finger to get out of there. We're gonna have to work with that here in a minute. All right, so same thing here. Come across the back and we'll take everything forward. Okay, right there should be good. Let's get this part down. Okay, now we get to deal with these areas here. Okay, so what I'd like to see happen is have this go down and stay down. So let's get a little tack in there, and we'll get a part tacked here and a part tacked here, and then we should be able to work all this out. All right, so let's go ahead. So just by getting, making sure that there's no air that can pop up this way, then we're able to push this stuff down, and I can even put a little pressure on this downward here, and that's gonna seal that, so that then we're able to push all of this air and water out. Oh, except for I did just pull that up a little there. So let's do that. Now let's get this back down here. Let's take care of this part first, since it's staying down very nicely. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is push down here, and then we're gonna squeegee this stuff away from this. See how that's sealed now? And then we should be able to squeegee away from this, but hang on, let's get the red squeegee out because it's gonna conform better into that little recess. Okay, and then I'm going to make certain that I do not lift this up, my hand up here. We want this to start to dry. Okay, and I just want to hold that for when I'm going to be considering long enough for that to tack down, because we don't want that to pop back up and just run a bunch of air out there. Let's see, does that do it? Yes. Now I'm gonna throw some tack in there, because I don't think that that's staying down good enough. I think that it's coming out too far. Get a little slip on there. You see how it's got the little fingers coming out? We don't want to mess with those. So I'm just going over that edge and I'm doing a swipe and hold. Okay, now let's go ahead and leave that, and let's get back here now. So I think if we just push this out, there we go. And this is the part where it's important that we don't really have much stretch from left to right. Otherwise, there's going to be a ton of tension in here. And then this is never going to want to go down this easy. Okay, and so this just needs to be pushed out. There we go again. Very nice. Now that, I believe, is pretty much staying down nice enough that we don't have to worry about adding tack to that to get that to stay down. I want to see what I can do with this finger here now. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I really like how that's going. This is going very well. All right, now let's figure out this side. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the other side, which is I'm gonna cut a hole in this, or a slit in it. That way we can get some tack or some slip in there. Whatever we need, we can get it in there. And let's just start with slip. Just make sure that nothing is pre-tacking, because this is just this air sitting in here allows this adhesive to dry, and we don't want dry adhesive about to touch the paint. Okay, so let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's see what we can just push out. And actually, I'm going to do that this time, because if that'll stay like that, then that's really good. We can get this all pushed down instead of having to go in the middle first. We're basically going to take everything to the middle. Okay, looking good. All right, we'll give that just a moment to start setting up so that it doesn't just continue to pop up when we start messing with all this out here. Because right now, if I just grab this and went like this, those air pockets will just go whoop and shoot right back up, and we don't want that. Let's see, so if we do something like that, get a mist on there, maybe we can get some of this to go out. With my signature arm swipe move. Oh, there we go, much better. We don't want that to keep popping up, because that air pocket, when we keep pushing those air pockets out, can leave dry spots. Because if the water doesn't follow the air pocket back up, so you don't get any moisture in there, then what you end up with is a dry spot, which is what we had right there. So let's see, actually, if we can just move some water into it. And if you can't, I mean, we were able to, and we can get rid of that, which is great. But if you can't get air into it and get that pushed out, then you just want to put as much pressure on as you can and push that out. And normally that's going to dry clear. Now, if you're leaving air pockets behind, that's not going to dry clear. It's just those very faint white areas. Like if you can see that, that's going to dry clear. That's going to dry clear. Okay. Keep bringing this down. Okay, that looks good. The spots where I really was putting pressure down with my fingers actually made that area stick right here, and so it's keeping tension on that, which is nice. Okay, let's deal with all this out here now. Okay. Okay, make sure we got everything squeegeed out there. Okay, now let's get this part here. Now I don't want to relieve all this tension here, because we don't want to adjust the tension that's on the hood. But we do need to get some tack in there. Okay. Take that over, little swipe and hold there. A little popping up right here. Okay, we're gonna check everything out, but I think we have this down. We just have to deal with these areas in here, and then obviously all these edges are going to need to be, you know, there's a lot of work still left to be done, but I mean, this is the bulk of the install. Oh, nope, right here in the wheel wells. Let's get these down. So just on the other side of this bend here, let me get the tack solution. Okay, so we said that I could pull all the way back up to the to that bend. That'll allow us to re-wet all this back down, and if there is a distortion from pulling it back up, it'll be on that bend, so it won't be something you can see. Okay, I'm pulling this tight just a little bit. I'm gonna do a swipe and hold right here on this edge. Okay. And let's go ahead and get this squeegeed out right to at least this body line here. I'm going to put just a little bit of tension down, just like we did on the other side, and then we're going to go ahead and squeegee all this out. And I'm going to do a swipe and hold on this edge. Beauty. Okay. Feeling this is my first time doing one of these. I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's looking good. I think we handled all that stuff correctly, and I think we're getting a really good, this is going to be just a really great finished product. And definitely, you know, difficult hood, big piece of material. You know, I hate to, well, you can find out, you know, but this is like, depending on what material you're using, this is a solid $200 to $300 in material. So screw that up a couple times, you're losing money on this portion of the install for sure. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's trim this out. So I'm leaving about 1/4 inch hanging over. Okay. Terrific. Let's fill all this with tack solution now and get all, well, let's get some more air in this. This full of tack now, get all the slip solution sprayed out of here. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and grab the smaller red card, squeegee, that I'm hiding from myself somewhere. Here it is. And we'll start rolling this over. And I guess you could let this even be bigger too and just push it further out. I just thought that that seemed like more work for no good reason. Oh, I left an air pocket. Let's see if I can force that out. Yep. By flipping this over and getting to that harder part of the squeegee, I was able to get that out of there. Let's see if we can do some slide chomp on this. Yeah, but we kind of bunched the material up there, if you can see that. So we got to be careful with that for sure. Yeah. Just really gotta pay attention if you do a slide jump in this area. Let's see if I can just push most of that out with my finger, and I can, and then we can come back and get better pressure on that for a good slide chomp. Now right here, you see me messing around with this area a little bit more, and that's because there is some kind of a, they must have taped something off here, and they've got a little bit more of a line here in the paint protection or in the paint clear coat. Not sure what that is, but they must have had to re-clear the hood, and they taped this off for some reason. So there's a bump right here, a line. Okay. Okay. Now if you can see the blotchiness here in this install, right here it's milky, right here it looks darker, so lighter, darker. Lighter, darker, right there. That's paint protection film drying. You don't even worry about that. You can see that all out in here, streaks. It's just paint protection film drying. Don't even worry about that. Once it dries, it'll all become the same shade. Let's take care of that opening now for that vent. So same process here. Flush this out. And you know what? I wonder, do we even need to do that? Flushing that out? So I'm gonna try something. What happens if we just put slip solution in here and then push this down with our finger? Let's find out. I wonder if that gives us less possibility of leaving or trapping moisture in this edge. Okay, so far so good. Other than down here, it doesn't want to stick so far, but let's see what we can do with what we've got going here. Let's get it off the face first, or off the top of the hood. Oh, okay, yeah, the one downside is that if you do push a little too hard, it pops it right up. See if I could be, I mean, you want to put some good pressure in there because you want to make sure that you don't leave anything behind. So let's see what we can do with leaving, with putting a little bit less pressure on that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, that works pretty good. And then let's check us out down here. I'm gonna go ahead and run my finger all the way to there because this corner has a lot of tension, and so when I let up, it's just making it pop right back up. So if I hold it down right there, then it's doing pretty good. Off the face first there. Okay, and that I'm just going to put tack in now. And then we'll go ahead and tack all this edge. Then I'll go ahead and just run this down very gently with my finger. Okay, that went really well. Let's go ahead and dry this off. Left a tiny bit of water right here. Let's see what we can do about pushing that out. Perfect. It's just right on the edge, and so it's actually stuck on the edge. There we go. Okay. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit and cure. So I'm gonna let this dry until there's no more streaks or anything in it, where there's like no lighter areas, basically, no milky looking areas. Because we want these edges to be super good and stuck before we start, trimming the edges for the wrapping. All right, let's start trimming this, and then we will pre-wrap these edges, and then we'll get the hood open and let it sit and dry, as far as the edges dry, before being able to wrap them around. Okay, so I'm gonna leave just under 1/4 inch or so hanging off. Now in these corners right here, because of how tight they are, because they're like more than 90 degrees, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna just 45 those. So right about here, I'll take that over like this, like that. You could try a melt method on there, but it's just going to be, it's way too much material. It's going to be bunched up in that corner. It's just not going to work. And really, even this one too. And because there's plenty of tension on the edge of the material, I'm able to just cut this without having it, you know, the edge get real jagged. Here we're losing some tension, so I'm gonna need to go ahead and pull on this part. Just basically pulling back away from the blade. These will all be very good corners for a melt method. And be careful in this area, make sure that we stay on our tear line. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit a little bit longer. We'll cut that at the last part. All right, again, a little 45 action here. Okay.
He shoots. He scores!
Nailed it. Okay. So for cutting this, what I'm actually going to do is trim this just like we're trimming paint protection film on the paint because we basically are. Be careful, because when this stuff breaks loose like this, if it goes tearing off the wrong direction, you could be in big trouble. Make sure you keep that angle where you're pulling like this and not pulling that way, because this will go boop right off into your material. Not a time you want to be starting over from scratch. Oh, I'm gonna buy a lottery ticket on the way home. All right, we need to break this loose off of the hood here. And I guess I really don't, I just want to put a little bit of moisture in there, of any sort. Okay. And let's get this open a little bit here. Oh man, can you go 3 for 3? Just put the pressure on myself. Oh, womp womp. All right, let's go ahead and rinse all these edges out. Hydrophobic. Can he redeem himself? Oh! All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pre-wrap this now. And I want to use the black squeegee for this since it's more rigid. Okay, isn't gonna work so good actually on this hood. Let me see if I can do this part though. So I would like to get this pre-wrapped for sure. The rest of it I'm not quite as worried about, but this bottom. So this pre-wrapping process just gets our finished edge, well, not our finished edge, but our finished for now edge, almost around to the bottom, which is great because then it's not on the front surface here where you can still see it. So if something is to go wrong on that very edge, the edge that now is going wrong is underneath, which could be some dirt or contamination gets in it, or maybe when you go to wrap this, you bump it wrong and you leave some air pockets on the edge. Now that edge is all the way out of view already, which makes it a much lower pressure situation. Just make sure when you're wrapping this around that you're getting good pressure on that edge as you go around, because you want to be making sure that you're squeegeeing all that water out and not leaving any water on the edge or air pockets, because then it's kind of defeating the purpose. All right, so at this point, we're just gonna sit here until those are completely dry, and then we'll go ahead and heat them up, wrap them around the rest of the way underneath. All right, let's go ahead and heat seal some of these edges together. I think maybe we'll do like half the hood together, and then I'll just get the rest done by myself. Yeah, so we'll wrap these edges, and then we'll heat seal around these vents here. So I'm gonna go ahead and warm these up. Make sure we're not going to be going up over, 700 to 800 degrees. And this car's got some years on it already, but it's fresh paint on the surface. So we had to get in here and really clean the snot out of this underneath the hood to make sure this paint protection film is going to wrap and then stay wrapped. It was going to be able to stick. Okay, let's get this corner around first. There we go, and then we can work away from that. And let's get this corner. Let's get this little piece here too. Okay, so now we've got that wrapped all behind. If you take that over nice and even, like just nice and slow, and take that over real even, normally you can get all the extra bunched up material around just to the back. If you go like this with it and try to push it down, you're gonna push all the extra material in this corner over to here, and it's gonna bunch up on this side or almost towards the front instead of just bunching up on the back. Hopefully that makes sense. And so then you're gonna see that little bunched up edge on the side of the hood. Okay, and then let's go ahead and give that about a 5 to 6 count, and we'll go ahead and melt method that rounded that corner there. Oh, let's actually get this one down a little bit further away from there, and let's melt method this corner. So just pinch right into it and then roll off of it, and just that makes it all lay down really nicely. Get this corner down really good, work away from it. Okay, first thing I want to do here is just kind of push this down and make sure that we're wrapped around to at least the side. That way we don't accidentally bump something incorrectly and leave air pockets on that edge. The pre-wrap did not really hold on this edge, which is fine. That's gonna happen sometimes. Okay. I'll go ahead and do the same thing where I'm wrapping this off of the top surface like that. And then we'll go ahead and put some heat on this. And so when I'm wrapping that off of the top surface to get it a little bit around the edge, because we did not pre-wrap this whole top part, I'm pushing really hard on there to make sure that I'm not leaving air pockets or anything on that other side. So I was actually pinching on that time. The other time I was holding it up with this and then pulling towards myself, enough pressure on there that it was actually kind of, you know, a little bit, I could feel that pressure on my fingers hurting a little bit. You want to get really good pressure on it so you don't leave air pockets and things behind. Let's get a little heat in here, make sure that all this is pushed down really good, because you can see here that this has a lot it can roll over and attach to, and then here there isn't much, so it's actually wrapping around and having to wrap around and attach back in here. So we want to get some decent heat on that and make sure that it is doing that. Let's get a little heat on this corner, just a little bit, and make sure that that's pushed down really good. Okay, and then we'll continue to heat this up and work our way down. And then once we get down here to the bottom, we'll roll that corner first and then work away from it. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and let's see. Hope you can see that film all bunched up there on that corner. 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000. And at 720, 5 1000 seem to be enough. So then I did a 3 count there. That's well stuck down. All right, and then we'll get some heat on this material here, on this edge, and get it wrapped around. So lots of pressure on that front lip, making sure that rolls under without leaving air. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and get all this pushed down here. Or really, we're just heat sealing these edges, not so much pushing this down. All right, terrific. Well, that was the process of installing paint protection film on this hood. So we bulked that on there. And again, this is a 2018 Jaguar F-Type. That's a fairly difficult hood. And if you were to overstretch that out in these areas here, and you were bridging this gap, like I was talking about, it's going to be really hard to get those areas down. So make sure you leave all that extra material, even though that left us with some fingers at the bottom down here, which is actually the front. We were able to get rid of those with no problem, but that extra material was also helpful in making sure that we weren't overstretching it. So hopefully you found something helpful there. And if you did, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you'd like to see more content like this, definitely hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys on the next one.